Tonight our topic is going to be focused on maintaining detailed records. In that regard, the importance of maintaining daily records and how to work within the continuing bureaucracy, which are halfway houses. You'll be meeting on a regular basis with your probation officer, and it's very important that when you meet with your probation officer, you're fully prepared with detailed and comprehensive records. We hope you learn a lot and enjoy tonight's class.
Speaking for myself, when I was in the Chicago halfway house, the Salvation Army halfway house, I had regular reviews, and during those reviews, I was specifically asked to bring progress report sheets that were provided to me when I first was introduced to my case manager, showing of my progress and showing of my efforts to obtain employment, and a whole host of other progress related items that each case manager typically personalizes depending on each person's profile and case and challenges. So being prepared for those meetings, and actually, as Nick alluded to earlier, the topics we've been discussing this evening, whether it be the community college issue, the Secretary of State driver's license issue, the outreach to agencies for employment, these are all issues that involve, from the case manager's perspective, a look at our willingness to be proactive in our continued growth. And to the extent that we can show that in an organized and credible way, it's only going to be helpful to us as we move ahead. Nick, your thought?
Yeah, I would mirror that 100%. Maintaining detailed records is extremely important, because in the end, you're dealing with a bureaucracy. And if you want to beat a bureaucracy, the way that you win is you bury them in paperwork. You have to have better paperwork than they have. And your paperwork has to substantiate the fact that you are out there working harder than anybody else. So it is kind of like a two-way street. You can't just get out there and be like the average guy. You've got to do more than the average guy. Or at least make it appear that way. Again, it's about appearances, but get it substantiated, get it on paper. One of the things that I would say about probation and parole officers, and I mean, I'm making a generalization here, so take it how you want it, but they want to do as little work as possible. If you do the work for them, and then you make your request sound like an afterthought, they're way, way more inclined to, take care of you. For example, I would, engage my parole officers like regular conversation. I'd throw the keys down to him. Hey, come on up. Hey, you can come on up here. If I met him in his own office, I mean, I'd be talking about, the weather, or how are the Bears doing, or something like that, just to, build a little bit of rapport. Then I would be prepared. I would give him all the documents. This is all the stuff I've been working on, and he has to do no work because I got an extra set of documents for him. And then, almost as an afterthought, this is how I would propose it. I'd be like, all right, cool. Well, I'll see. Hey, you know what? Before I go, I almost forgot. Didn't you mention that there is a way, there's a process at least to, reduce the parole time? I mean, if there is, I would love to get involved in that. You see what I'm saying? Like, your number one concern is to do everything that he's saying. And then your afterthought is that. And I just personally think, like, people want to help each other. And if you approach it that way, these guys are going to say, yeah, I'll put in the request. And I mean, they do, So the last person in the world that you want to upset is your parole officer. But, there are certain little things, like, don't make it seem out the gate like, hey, I want to get out of here. Make it seem like, hey, I want to do everything right. And by the way, I remember, I thought there was something, you see what I'm saying? If that makes sense. It worked for me.
Please remember that the halfway house is not much different than the prison you were in. It is run like a bureaucracy at the highest level. And for that reason, it's critical that you maintain good and comprehensive records and present those records in a very open and honest way with your probation officer. If you can do that, and you can do that on a regular basis, you will do just fine. We hope you enjoyed this evening's class.